My name is Alan.
My name is Evan.
Welcome to all my friends.
Dude, that was so legit.
Hilarious.
And we are back for another episode of All My Friends. And it's official, folks. We're teenagers.
We are.
This is episode 11. Wait a minute. Fuck.
Shit.
Well, I really thought that this would make us a teenager. And I guess I realize it's not until 13, which will probably be our best episode yet, right?
Yeah.
I can promise you that. So stay
Absolutely.
tuned. We don't even know who we're putting out on episode 13, but it's my lucky number. So anyways, we are back. It is the week of April 9th. Lots of good stuff happening. It's spring has sprung in Seattle. Am I right, Al? Get off your phone. What are you doing right now?
It has today.
Alan's texting somebody. He's sick of the podcast. Now that he's a teenager, he's getting angsty.
I'm busy.
Well, we have a very fantastic episode for you all today. So thank you for listening, and I promise you that it will be entertaining. We interviewed a very exciting singer, badass. I don't even remember the genre that we really landed on with her. Rock.
Yeah, rock. Punk rock.
Yeah, she liked to say, we'll go with that. We interviewed Bloodboy, fantastic LA-based musician. LA, right? Gosh, I hope I got that right. That would suck.
It is.
She is on the rise. We like to strive with our ability to make you all hip to musicians before they're huge. Alan, can you say that Bloodboy is one of those?
Oh, absolutely. Her first single was awesome.
Sex crime.
Then her second...
Sex sells, you know what they say.
Yeah. Her second single just came out about a week ago. Is Now a Good Time to Ruin Your Life?
Question mark.
And that is
that's the smash.
And I mean, if her album is any indication of these two songs that have come out, it's going to be a great one.
Could be a big summer record, Yeah. Driving, just screaming along to these lyrics, it'd be great. It's got a good vibe to it. She was fantastic conversation. It was a little phone interview, so this is a recurring thing for us that we get crappy audio. Not crappy. It wasn't crappy.
No, yeah.
She happens to be in a coffee shop and a train comes by, so there will be. We're basically taking you to the train station, so we all got you train rides. You're welcome.
Yeah. You're welcome. You all went to LA.
We got you a free train ride there. So, but before we get to the interview, of course, we have to do some segments here. Starting us off, a little recap of what happened in the last week of music. Starting off our April, it was a big one, right, Al?
Yeah, it was a big one. First one, my favorite one also.
We got a lot of good ones here, actually.
3 members of Migos' entourage got arrested after the police found some drugs on their tour bus. This is 100% what you call Fall Guys.
Fall Guys? Oh, yeah. Three guys of Migos. It's funny because when you wrote this, I originally read it as 3 members of Migos, and I didn't read the entourage, and I was like, wait a minute, so all 3 of Migos got arrested for drugs? Also, no. I gotta say that, come on. You're right about that. I didn't even think about that.
On the tour bus, there is a reason, not the only reason, but there's a reason you're there.
Yeah.
If the cops come and they find any weed... It is 100% yours, and they have never touched it.
I'm realizing that that's a thing that happens more and more with artists. They literally bring around somebody. I had just heard the story of somebody with G-Eazy. I think some guys told us about that.
Yeah.
G-Eazy having a fall guy that would just follow him around, unscrew his drinks that he would drink. Like he'd get a beer and the guy would pop the cap off, and then he would also be the fall guy.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It's not very shocking that there was drugs on a Migos bus, though, right?
That's like too easy for the cops. Come on.
Those guys are always high.
Yeah.
Next up, the man we talk about nearly every single week, Mr. Drizzy Drake. His song "God's Plan" became his longest leading Hot 100 #1 hit.
Kind of crazy, but I mean...
Kind of crazy because he's probably had a lot of those.
Because he's had a lot of hits. Yeah, exactly.
And it doesn't feel like that song's been out for more than a month. And I'm not sick of it. I still love it.
Yeah,
I still love it. We'll talk about that song a little bit later. But big congrats to Mr. Drizzy Drake for literally staying on top of the entire game. He is #1. You cannot even really argue that, right?
I don't think so. I mean...
Maybe not I'm not saying that he's the greatest rapper of all time.
No, exactly.
Don't at me.
Don't start the whole rapper conversation.
But
I think he's the biggest right now.
He is the most successful.
Yeah.
He is the most successful.
Talking about success, Cardi B is pregnant.
Congrats, Cardi!
Yeah. Rumors had been out, but she finally revealed her baby bump at SNL.
Yep.
Really cool SNL performance. Her new album was out. If you haven't heard it, go listen
Smash.
to that immediately.
Yeah, it is really good.
But congrats.
Congrats to Cardi and hopefully Mr. Offset. I mean, hey, you never know. What's amazing is that there were rumors about this months ago, and somehow nothing. There was no photos of her. Like the SNL thing, she is pregnant. Like it is very apparent that she is pregnant. So I follow her on Instagram. You know, she's posting stuff every day. I don't know how she managed to keep the camera above her shoulders for.
No one ever got a photo of Kylie.
That's true. That's like some FBI work.
Yeah.
The Kardashians are probably in with the FBI.
Yeah.
They probably own part of it.
They run the FBI.
Yeah, Kris Jenner, jeez. The head of FBI. Another one, probably one that I'm going to inform a lot of our listeners on who this rapper is for the first time in their lives. Mr. 6ix9ine. I think he also goes by Tekash 6ix9ine. He is a rapper that if you've seen a picture of him, you definitely will never forget his face. He's got rainbow-colored hair, about 1 million face tattoos, the number 69 all over his body. Anyways, he's quite popular on the interwebs, a quote-unquote SoundCloud rapper, even though that term has been retired. He, on his Instagram, has officially said, I'm a quit rapping this year. So apparently Tekash 6ix9ine is going to retire sometime this year. He's been a rapper for, who knows, a year, maybe?
Probably 2.
Probably longer, but he is now very successful. He's a very successful rapper, and honestly, I don't blame him going out on top.
Sure. I mean, I feel like he's just another one of those kid rappers.
But he's retiring.
Next week, he's going to be like, yo, I was kidding. Putting out 5 albums this year.
No, 5 albums this week.
5
albums this week. It's amazing because I don't know. He's such an interesting guy, and I knew that you wouldn't have like a ton of thoughts on this because I don't like the music too. There's some of these guys that I actually enjoy, and he is not.
Ev
one.
has a tattoo planned.
I'm about to get a face tat.
6ix9ine.
God, my mom is probably listening to this
face
just crying
on his
right
own
now.
face.
Tattoo within a tattoo in Inception.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about him anymore, but if you're not familiar with him, you should Google it right now because it's a very interesting looking person.
At least you see his face.
It'll brighten your day.
There you go. New study reports that going to concerts increases life expectancy. Now, question. How many is too many, or am I just going to live forever? Because we've been going to a lot, and god damn, we're never going to die.
What's that movie, Tuck Everlasting? Do you know that movie?
Yes.
Where you drink the water and then you live forever? Is 80 to 100 plus shows a year Tuck Everlasting's water? Because if so, we're good.
80 to 100? Damn.
I feel like...
I go to half of that.
No. I think there was a year. We don't need to get into your personal background here. Right. That does beg the question, can too many concerts kill you? I will tell you, yes, that can happen. Especially if you go drinking with the Phantom guys, because they'll drink you to the table. Well, that's a little preview for one of the interviews we did. But yeah, I feel like this study pops up every 6 months. This article gets circulated around the internet, and a lot of people will be like, oh, I guess I'm going to live forever. And it's like, okay, hilarious. This is really funny. Also, I just wanted to point out that this study was done by a behavioral scientist from Goldsmith University. Doesn't sound like a real university to me.
I would say, if that's not in Australia, then I'll be very disappointed because otherwise it's a fake
feel
university.
like that should be an Australian thing?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's apparently in London.
Yeah, it's not real.
Google Goldsmiths University. It seems fake. Also,
it seems like the Phoenix.
How do you
University
possibly correlate that? Like, how do you not correlate that? How do you do research on that?
I don't know.
The report they published even suggested that going to shows at least once every 2 weeks could increase your life by 9 years. No way. Trust me, some of the shows we've been at takes away 9 years of your life.
Seriously.
Alcohol.
Does it account for what you do at the concert?
What about hearing loss? I guess you can...
You live for 9 years. It feels like 9 years because you can't hear shit.
Exactly. Next one up. Oh, yeah. I know that we do a Kanye sighting every week, and we'll get to that later, but I feel like we should be doing a check-in on Avril Lavigne. So from time to time, I'll type in Avril Lavigne in Google and then go to the news tab, and I found a good one. Apparently, a super fan of Avril Lavigne crafted a 500-plus tweet tribute to Avril Lavigne's song's Girlfriend. Yes, he literally went through and posted 500 tweets, each one of them starting off with the word of the lyric of her song Girlfriend. So it was, hey, you, but the tweet was hey, and then the next tweet was you. He literally went through 500 tweets.
Wow.
Which means there's 500.
I would say there's 500 words in that song or more.
Yeah, 500 plus. 500 plus. I wonder if this guy knows whether she's dead or alive. If anyone has inside knowledge on it, it's probably him.
Or this is all evidence.
Or this is her on a burner account.
Ooh, trying to bring back relevant.
Exactly. Or it's her ex-husband, who he was in Sum 41.
We'll do the research one day.
One of these days. We're really good at procrastinating.
But not today. Not today. Another great headline. Shawn Mendes reveals his dream spring break in Radio Disney Ask Me Anything interview.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Why? How does anyone... That was written on Billboard. We're going to air Billboard out a little bit right here, because who thinks that that's like a worthy news article? Also, Ask Me Anything, that's a Reddit thing. And Radio Disney, that's still around?
I was going to say, first off, I didn't know Radio Disney was a thing. Second, like you said, Ask Me Anything is Reddit. Third, his dream spring break.
What do you think?
He's a millionaire. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. Is he just talking about what he's going to do this year?
That's kind of sad. I was just going to ask. I wonder what his dream spring break is.
There you go.
Shawn
That's
Mendes,
why they wrote that article.
The man who probably has it all.
Yep.
Would want to do on spring break. Gosh, I think I might have to check that article out. Well, with it being April, we're about a quarter of the way through the year. Finished up our first quarter. We wanted to do a quick little review of the top 10 songs that we've heard. So, in true Evan fashion, I didn't really do this segment. I didn't prepare for the segment the same way Alan did. Alan did a pretty good job of listing out his 10 songs. So how are we going to do this? We're going to just go through it quickly here, and
yeah, I figured we could.
I'll tell Alan yay or nay if it can be on our combined list.
Exactly. Next week when Evan has done.
Yeah, I'll do mine next week. That's the thing.
And then
so
after
check
that,
out what next week's episode.
Yeah, we'll put out a little playlist with the songs that we both came up with. We'll put it on, in the link to the episode, so you can kind of check out what we're talking about if you don't know any of the songs. So I'll go through mine really quick. In no particular order, please. Don't number 1 or number 10. Just 10 songs I've enjoyed so far. Frank Ocean's cover of Moon River.
It's a cover.
Wow.
A cover can never
original.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, a cover can't be on a top 10 list unless it's top 10 covers.
Top 10 covers.
Yeah, exactly. It's just top 10 songs of the year.
Soccer Mommy, cool.
Ding ding ding.
Lucy Dacus, Night
Fake
Shift.
News came out last year.
Okay, her album came out this year, which is what I was looking at, and I forgot that this song came out last year,
in December. But only because it is totally on my top 10 will I allow it.
Yeah, because you don't want to do your homework. King Princess, 1950.
I'm down.
We talked about it earlier. Great song.
Good job.
Sigrid, I Don't Want to Know.
Sure, I'll allow it. It's not her best song, but I'll allow it.
It's her favorite this year.
We'll spell these out too so y'all can listen.
Yeah. Casey Musgraves, High Horse.
Ring, ding, 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 ding. Yes, disco country is back and better than ever. If you want to groove, why don't you throw this song on? She played Ellen DeGeneres, so she's made it. She's finally made it.
Drake, God's Plan.
Of course, we'll throw that up there. Still not sick of it.
Cardi B, I Like It, her new album.
Down with it.
Great song.
Underrated Cardi song, even though it's only been out for about 4 days.
Yep. G-Flip, About You.
Absolutely. Have we talked about G-Flip on here?
A tiny bit, I think.
Tiny bit. Shout out to G-Flip, Australian producer, singer, songwriter, whatever you want to call her. Go listen to that song. It's literally the only song out of her, so you got nowhere to go but that one.
Snail Mail, Pristine.
The sweet, sweet Snail Mail. I will add that to the top 10 list as well. Well done.
Okay. And SOB, RBE, Paramedic.
From the hit soundtrack, Black Panther.
Yeah.
Yes, I will say it. That you could argue a couple of songs off that Black Panther soundtrack would be in the top 10, but I will allow this one. This one's got me feeling West Coast, you know?
Okay. And I think I was counting, that might have been 11, so
it's
top 10 plus 1. Top 10 plus 1.
That makes sense.
Because of 2017 version. Song.
Okay, so really I only next Frank Ocean. Which, that's okay.
Wow, that's surprising.
Okay. I don't think I'd put the secret one in my top 10.
Doesn't enjoy Frank
I like that song a lot, actually,
that's
and his
so
cover,
shocking.
but we have a rule here, Alan, an unspoken rule that you should have known. No covers on the top 10.
Okay, next week you'll find out what Evans is if he ever does his homework.
Yep, I'll try. I'll probably only get like 4, and they'll all be songs that you listed, but we'll get there. We've got a Kanye sighting.
Yes.
We actually have 2 Kanye sightings. Kanye West apparently split up with his longtime manager. He had been managed by I'm going to mispronounce the name, and So I'm not even going to try. Anyways, the reason why I wanted to bring it up is because there are rumors that Kris Jenner, yes, the head of the Kardashian clan, is giving him career advice and is potentially even going to try to be his manager.
Man. I'm just, like, if this was true, do you think his career would be better off or worse off? To be fair, her daughters have made a lot of money off of her managing them. So,
well, you can make a lot of money but not be liked. Or even that.
I don't know if Kanye is like the most liked by everyone.
Oh, he's definitely.
He's already controversial.
He's very controversial. Kanye, I've got advice. Run, dude. I know that there's probably some. I shouldn't say this, but I am down with the Kardashian curse. Like, I believe that is a thing. For those of you who are not sports fans at all, there is a theory that when an athlete starts dating, when an athlete starts dating a Kardashian, their careers go down the can.
Yes.
And a lot of the rumored relationships and even confirmed relationships, it has kind of happened. Case in point, Khloe Kardashian's boo, Tristan Thompson for the Cleveland Cavaliers. We're not a sports podcast, so we're not going to go down that, but I have a feeling like Kris Jenner, maybe this would be Kris Jenner being a manager for Kanye West. Maybe it'd be so ridiculous that it would work. You never know.
You never know, but
Kanye could get his own
Kanye, we will manage you, and I think we can do the same job.
Kanye would start putting out like his own Skull Candy headphones or something like that. It'd be like a
$1
billion deal.
This is just getting sad.
No, sorry, Kanye. Run! We've got another Kanye sighting, and then Alan's got a bandwagon update. The other Kanye sighting, we'll keep this one short, but Kanye West is being sued over a camouflage print. Apparently, he had some print on his clothes that someone said was his. The real question is, if it's camouflage, how can you see it?
Also, isn't camouflage kind of all like the same?
Exactly.
Come on, let's be real.
And wouldn't the Army have the original trademark on camouflage?
Ooh, probably.
So maybe we should sue the Army. I don't even know who was suing him. I didn't look into the article. Just read the headline.
That's fine. Maybe the Army is suing
him.
him.
Maybe that's who it is. We're big headline guys, so we won't get into that.
And lastly, we have a little bandwagon update. One of our favorite bands, Brockhampton, that we have talked about.
Brizzy!
I'm just going to give you a little bit of a list of people that have decided to join the bandwagon.
Yes, because when did we put them on the bandwagon? 3 weeks ago? No, more than that.
More.
Month plus.
6 weeks ago
they
or
were on our
something.
bandwagon. They're still
so here's a little update. First, they were in the studio with Skrillex.
Yep.
Welcome, Skrillex.
Welcome, Sonny.
They hung out with Rick Rubin.
Legendary producer. We'll accept him. He's allowed to join the bandwagon.
They had dinner with Jamie Foxx.
Denied from the bandwagon.
Ooh. You don't like
I'm
Jamie
just kidding.
Foxx?
I don't really mind him.
They hung out all day with Ansel Elgort, who's the actor from Baby Driver.
Who also is a singer himself.
Yes.
So maybe little Ansel. Also, why did you say Fault in My Stars? Fault in the Stars.
Because I like Baby Driver, not the other one.
That movie's sad.
They asked Lakeith Steinfeld to join the band on Twitter, and he accepted.
Yep, saw that.
They hung out with Jaden Smith, welcomed him to the band, made a video with him, and then he brought them out to the show in L.A. He's in.
Dude,
he's
in.
Like he might be in the band.
That's a real Hollywood sentence, though.
Yeah.
Jaden Smith brought them out to the show at L.A. Yeah, that's a Hollywood line.
Pete Wentz shouted them out on Twitter.
Pete, stay in your lane, man. Don't try to come over here. Don't join something that's cool, Pete. You're like forever a Target commercial to me.
And finally, Haley Baldwin shouted him out on Twitter.
Denied. Wait, what did she say? She just said she liked
it. She said she'd forever be grateful for them making the song Bleach.
Oh. Also, Halsey talked about them a few months ago. But
okay, so just to summarize a little bit, we got Skrillex, a producer, Rick Rubin, a producer, Jamie Foxx, an actor-singer, Ansel Elgort, actor-singer, Lakeith, an actor, Jaden Smith, a celebrity all over, Pete Wentz, also celebrity, Haley Baldwin, an model. They're all over Hollywood. They're not even. You can't even say it's like Hollywood. One thing. They're everywhere.
And this is all us.
You're welcome.
We did it.
Yep.
We really did it.
Do you think we get? When do we get? We're like 10% checks for
10%. That band's already split. There's 14 members of the band or something like that. They're already splitting that. Crazy. Yeah, all of those guys are like finally making like $40,000 a year. I bet they like make the same salary as like a 7th grade science teacher. Yet they're insanely successful musicians. Well, welcome to the bandwagon, everybody. With that, I think it's time that we jump into our interview with Bloodboy. She was fantastic. She has a full record coming this year. Has had a little bit of a career before Bloodboy that we talked about a bit, but she has changed her sound since then and is really headed in a great direction.
Yeah, it was a really fun interview. Pretty interesting background of what she did before when she was a teenager.
California born and raised.
Yeah, like we said, very much an up-and-comer, really good music.
Yes.
We're actually really looking forward to this album.
Yep. After that second single, I was excited before once I learned that we were going to interview her, but after that second single, I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
The expectations are high now.
So
it's going to be good. Thanks again to Jamie for setting this one up. Appreciate it.
Shout out to Jamie.
Shout out Jamie. I know none of you know who he is, but we're going to shout him out anyways.
Yeah.
And with that, here's Bloodboy. Location in Seattle, Washington, but our guest is not. She is in our computer / down in Southern California.
In the future or the past.
In the future
Unknown.
or the past. We're not sure what year. We have
Both.
On a very special guest. Yes, we have Bloodboy on the podcast. First off, Lexie, how's it going?
I'm doing wonderfully. Thank you very much. How about yourselves?
We're fantastic.
Good. Yeah, it's Friday. Can't be, too down.
It snowed today in Seattle, Lexie.
Yeah,
Let me tell you that.
Oh, I was just thinking, I'm such a baby. I'm freezing right now, and it's like 65.
It probably snowed in Southern California too, didn't it?
It actually did, like 2 weeks. No, maybe 3 weeks.
You're lying.
It did in LA, which is insane.
Do you mean like you got like a shaved ice?
No. The real snow was falling from the sky. I saw it on the internet.
Well, fair enough. I guess we'll have to trust you on that one.
Crazy times.
Sounds like a lie. First question: what can you tell us about these three people? Marissa Shaw, Troy Mothershead, and Chase Brady.
Oh my God! Do you know them?
No.
Nope.
Do you know them?
Yeah, I do.
How do you know them?
This is a trick to get me to talk about surfing.
First off, there's no tricks on this podcast. This is not a magician's podcast. We're talking about music and your influences.
Okay, so they're all from my hometown, and we all grew up surfing together. Chase and I, actually Troy and I were really close too, but Chase and I went on several surf trips together, and we've known each other for 15, 20 years probably. So wow. Yeah. Where did you find their names?
What do you mean? It's just a very generic Google search. It can get you that type of information.
Oh,
that's one we ask everyone.
Yeah,
you just have to be the first person that knows them.
Oh, sorry. There's a train stopping. Can you hear it?
Yeah, we can. It sounds really good. This is good for podcast audio usually.
I hope
trains
it'll be
in the
quick.
background.
The people are getting on, so it shouldn't be too long.
Oh, okay. That works. But you did do professional surfing at some point of your life, yes?
Well, I guess by definition, yes, because I was paid for it. But I'm hesitant to call myself a former professional surfer. I was on the U.S. surf team for 2 years.
That seems very professional.
What's that?
That seems very professional.
Oh, well, it's 18 and under, though, so I was young. And but I surfed for Rip Curl. I was sponsored by Rip Curl, and I got to travel a lot and was a fun time in my life, for sure.
Okay.
Do you think you've traveled more for surfing or playing music?
Oh my God, unequivocally surfing. Unfortunately, I mean, also the locations you get to go to for surfing are much cooler. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that actually might be better, because if you're traveling for music, you're usually in some dark, grungy, shitty rock club, or if you're traveling for surfing, you're on a beach. Sounds a little better.
But I love those dark, shitty bars, though. I mean, the grungier the better.
That's good.
So,
talking a little bit about that, we hear you've got some mutual connections to Death Cab for Cutie. So when can we expect the Bloodboy and Death Cab collab?
Well, okay. So Dave Zepper, who I assume you're referring to,
that is.
He played on the first EP that I put out, and he was friends with the producer of the EP, and so I mean we really only spent a few days together, and he's lovely and a brilliant guitarist, but I haven't spoken to him in quite some time, so I'm not sure that that's in the cards anytime soon.
I think you should slide in the DMs. I think now is the time. Now that he's a lot more active with Death Cab, now's the time to pull that card.
We're friends on Facebook. I like his posts, and he's very active on there. So I keep tabs on him. I'll say that.
That's
there
good.
you go.
That's then because he's active on Facebook, you know that if you sent him a message, he's gonna see it. So that's
he would respond. I mean, like I said, he's lovely, and he would respond and probably pretend that he would pass along the word to Ben Gibbard and not. But
sorry, it's better than having no connection at all. So
yeah, that's great.
So speaking of producers, you've been on a King Henry song, and your former artistic name, Pan Alexander, had music produced by him. How did you guys meet?
You really did your research. Wow.
Did you think that we weren't going to research with an interview for Bloodboy Lexie?
We were just going to hop on here and be like, oh, who is this person? Oh.
Well, you would be surprised how often that happens.
Well, we're professionals. We're with microphones on a laptop.
I was hoping that Pan Alexander was buried forever, but Henry and I went to the same school. We didn't know each other at school, and after I graduated, I started working at a small label that I'm pretty sure is defunct now, called Scion AV. It was like a subsidiary of Scion. And one of my coworkers was friends with Henry from school, and he was looking for top liners to sing over some of his beats. And so he connected us, and we became really, really good friends. And he was the first person that I ever worked on music with. And we tried to do an EP, and both of us at the time were like not entirely sure what we wanted the sound to be. And so we did a couple covers. My name was Pan Alexander at the time. I still can't believe I can't believe I called myself that.
The internet's a hell of a place. It's a hell
God.
of a place.
Yeah, I listened to those in retrospect, and I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking? But so we've kept in touch. He came to my show actually a couple nights ago, and we've written together a couple times since then, but he's so damn busy now because he's like a rock star producer now. So it's tough to get. My manager actually is an A&R for Mad Decent, and so he's trying to get me in some writing sessions, and I was like, I'm only going to do them if Henry comes. And he was like, Henry's booked until October. Sorry. So
he has a lot of time is what you're trying to say? He's just chilling.
Yes. Yeah. He's not at all in sessions with Sting or
Beyonce or Justin Bieber. Yeah, no, none of those people.
Yeah, The Weeknd. Yeah, exactly. So, no, but we actually did talk on Tuesday about getting together soon and trying to write. And that song that was on his EP, we wrote like 3 years ago. And he randomly was like, I'm going to put this on. And was like, that was recorded in his bedroom. And the vocals were scratch vocals, and he just kept them. So I love Henry. I think he's so talented.
So what's the biggest difference between that earlier music, whether it was under Penn Alexander or Bloodboy, your earlier EPs, and this album that you're working on now?
I would say mainly I'm hesitant to say that I know how to play guitar proficiently now, but before I had no idea. I couldn't pick up a guitar and play a single chord. And so most of my early demos were just like garage band demos using the stock synths, and they were super cheesy and like sort of synth poppy sounding. And that wasn't what I was going for, but because I couldn't play guitar, I couldn't add that element. And so when I showed producers like Henry, it was hard for them to intuit what I wanted the song to sound like without any guitar on it. And so I finally just had to bite the bullet and learn how to at least play rudimentally. And after that, I started focusing more on production as well. So I could at least showcase the ideas in a way that wouldn't be so open to interpretation, I guess, because that was really the problem most of the time, is that they were like, it sounds like you're going for this, and I was like, no, that's actually exactly wrong. That's not what I'm trying to do.
So you think honestly, like having an instrument allowed you to be way more succinct and direct with like this artistic vision?
Yeah, I do. But my songwriting has also changed a lot, I guess. Back then, it was really hard for me to write about myself, and I wrote really obscurely, and I actually took a songwriting workshop. I was forced to, really. And
shout out management.
Yeah, it sounds a lot of fun. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Exactly. Yeah. So against my will, I took a songwriting workshop, and it ended up being really, really, really helpful. And the woman who led the workshop was like, if you aren't willing to be vulnerable in your songwriting, to get the fuck out. Like, why are you doing this? Why would you want to not connect with the audience? And that really changed my perspective a lot. So I started writing more personally, and the songs became much more relevant to my life. And I think more direct enough for people to at least know what I was singing about. Before, the lyrics were so obscure that, didn't mean anything. So,
for example, your new single that came out, "Sex Crime," which is from your upcoming album.
Yes.
It talks about a woman in her 20s, pursued by someone younger in their teens.
Yes.
And you've said that this is partly like a commentary on the rigid legal system. What inspired you to write that song? I mean, is that so you said you were writing more personal. Did this have to do at all with your focus in pre-law at school, or was this like personal relations?
You like that?
Oh my
like
God.
How that came around there?
No, it didn't.
It's a little journalism trick for you.
No, really, it's that isn't an autobiographical song. That didn't happen to me per se, but I was a substitute elementary school, and not just elementary. I was primarily elementary, but a couple of times I subbed for high schools. And this one time in particular, this kid he was, I think, a junior, so it would have made him 16 or 17. He stayed after class and tried to get me to give him a hug in a very bizarre way. And I was like, no. I was so flustered, and I was like, no, you can have a wonderful day and get out of my classroom, though. And afterward, I was thinking about because he looked much older, and if I had seen him outside of school and not known, I would have thought he was much older than that. And not to say that I would have been attracted. Not to say I was attracted to him. I wasn't. But it just got me thinking about the fact that kids these days are the emotional maturity, I think,
is very different.
Is much more rapid. Yeah, because they have access. Oh, go on.
Oh, I was gonna say, I mean, the way I've noticed that fact or seen it is like you see it with like the shootings and stuff. Like kids in high schools these days aren't really reacting like you see
exactly
to like Columbine or something. Like they're organizing themselves, making protests, like asking for involvement or for the opportunity to be involved in the politics that surround these issues.
I had the same exact thoughts today.
And I do think that it's partially like social media and just the way kids are more informed. They're honestly probably smarter than I was at that age,
Smarter
and so
than
like
now.
they're
Absolutely
just more mature in certain ways. I mean, they're still teenagers, obviously.
Yeah.
But, it does seem like it's getting harder and harder to, just say like, oh, they're kids when they're facing real issues and debating and acting on them maturely.
Yeah, they have, and even at a much younger age, I noticed when I was, like I said, primarily doing elementary school, the fourth graders and fifth graders, they know a lot about a lot that I did not know when I was in fourth and fifth grade. Like, I mean, they know like sexual terms, and there was this one kid who was like 8 talking about blowjobs and like explicitly.
This is exactly where I thought our interview was going to go with you. This is exactly what I thought we would end up talking about.
I had to send him I obviously didn't think it was okay, but he was saying these sorts of things like that he wanted to do them to the other students. And I had a student come up to me and say, so-and-so told me he wants to give me a blowjob. And I was like, holy shit, you're 9. That's wild. And they have access to so much information because they have smartphones when they're fucking 7 now. And so, yeah, I mean, I just to circle back on the rigidity of the legal system comment, I think that is well-intentioned. Having an age of consent that is a general, it's there for a reason. That wasn't pulled out of nowhere. However, I do think it's a more nuanced conversation than just you're not
black and white.
You're not emotionally mature enough to know if you want to have sex till you're 18, because that's just not true.
Yeah.
But it's different when there's a large age disparity, of course.
Yeah. Well, as much as we love talking about 8-year-olds with blowjobs, let's shift a little bit and talk a little bit about we try to cover like the state of whatever genre artists we're talking about, but for you, it does feel a little more difficult. It's not as clean cut as
that is
you
the biggest compliment.
Well, Lexie, we're here to charm you. This is what we do. But honestly, it's not as clean cut as you are rap, you are rock. You could say pop rock, you could say a lot of things. So, is there a label you like to go by?
Metal as fuck.
That's I don't. What we were gonna say.
I don't know. It's so hard. I struggle with this all the time. I mean, I think the term I generally go with is like alternative pop, but really the new record isn't it. It's much more punk and rock influenced than pop, I would say.
Cool.
So So, and obviously Sex Crime is the only song out, so that's the only reference that you guys have for the new stuff. But
yeah,
it's I know we're not supposed to talk about my influences, but
no, you're bringing it up. We didn't ask you.
But the record was heavily inspired by late 70s punk.
Cool.
And when I say punk, I don't mean like Black Flag. I mean Blondie and
Runaways,
the Cars and Television, and it's open to interpretation whether or not some people don't think that's punk at all, but I guess I don't know, maybe avant-garde pop. I don't know.
That's a good. So how do you feel? Do you feel like obviously that was the greatest compliment you've ever received in your life? So you clearly are not the biggest fan of like being stuck in this label.
Oh no, I hate it.
And a lot of like the way that music is consumed these days, even just on something as basic as Spotify, is like, here is your genre, here is the mood, this is what it's called. But like the way that music is created and the way it's shared, it's just making it so artists are blending, across many genres. So do you feel like some of these labels like deter from your artistic vision? Do you feel like they hurt? Do you feel like it should be totally wiped out, or
I mean, I think it's human nature to need to have a point of reference, and it's the way that we frame things so we can better understand them. And so I, as much as I resent it sometimes, especially when it comes to playing shows, there's to get a booking agent, for example, they're like, are you gonna fit on an indie rock bill or a top 40 Spotify bill? Like it's very cut and dry for them. So that really does, that irritates me, because I think it's for one, I've been to so many shows where the opener is entirely different than the headliner, and I think it's good. And there is crossover opportunity in, between artists that are completely different. So
I mean, we recently went to see Lord, and the opener was Run the Jewels. So
I saw that tour was happening.
Anything's possible.
I thought it was amazing. Yeah. Exactly.
And I mean, it feels good to see two different shows basically completely, but they're both great,
Exactly. Yeah, I loved the idea of that when I saw that was happening. So
by the way, a little PR 101, your genre easily could have just been a punk adjacent.
Oh,
name of the new album.
That's what you should have said.
You're so right.
That was another journalism trick that you didn't fall for. That was a softball toss. You should have knocked that one out.
Damn it! I know. I thought of a good one the other day too. I can't remember what it is now, but yeah. I mean, still the punk adjacent thing is sort of a joke as well, though, because like, if someone listened to the record and didn't know that it was called punk adjacent, the likelihood of them coming away being like, that's a pretty punk record is not high.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But so, even the single is like, there's obviously some punk influences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like very Cars ripoff.
Right. Well, not a ripoff. Influence. Remember, we used the word influence.
I know. I'm kidding.
Yeah. It's not. I think the way that you listed out some of those influenced artists that it's not Black Flag, it's not like some of these real classic grungier punk that you would think of. There is some aspects to that, but it's a different style. So I think even the term punk comes with these connotations of like all white male dark rock club, really in your face 90-second songs.
Exactly.
But it's like that's not necessarily it even.
No, not at all. I mean, The Clash was extremely experimental in sonically, and they're considered one of the most important punk bands of all time. So, I mean, there were white males screaming at you, sort of, but but it just in terms of their sonic experimentation, they're not what I would. They're not like the stereotypical punk band,
No, not every like white male band has to be negative.
No, not at all. Of course not. I grew up listening mainly to white male bands.
We all did. All right. Well, we'll move into some questions. The part of, this is the last segment. We always hope to ask some questions that you either haven't been asked for, or will at least adhere to some different answers. So, first off, who's the most famous person in your cell phone?
Oh, in my cell phone? Ooh, this is embarrassing.
Is it going to be embarrassing?
Kind of. It's Kelly Slater.
What do you mean? How is that embarrassing? He's huge.
Yeah.
Well, because the fact that I saved it, I guess.
Was this number acquired when you were 15?
If not 15, but it's been a while. And he dated or has been dating a friend for I don't know 8 years or something. So
you want to call?
But
him?
I don't talk to him.
Oh, so he wouldn't answer. Can you merge him on the Skype call? Is that possible?
Yeah.
What's that?
Could you merge him on the Skype call?
We'll switch to video for that. Don't worry.
Yeah. We'll take that as a no.
So who do you prefer, Ryan Sheckler or Ryan Gosling?
Oh God, I knew that was coming.
Did you really? No, you didn't.
Yeah. Wait, where did I say something about that? I don't even recall ever talking about that.
I don't recall you talking about it.
Maybe on it.
It's a question we ask all of our guests.
Yeah, definitely Ryan Gosling.
Wow, really? The Southern California surfer.
I'm not bitter or anything.
Okay. Fair enough. Ooh, if we showed you the Coachella lineup from 2012 today, would you still think it's amazing?
Wait, what was the Coachella lineup in 2012?
I believe it featured the Black Keys, Radiohead, Dr. Dre, and Snoop Dogg, so the Tupac hologram year.
Bon Iver.
And others.
Okay. Wait, what was the question again? If you showed me the Coachella lineup of 2012
today, would you still think it's amazing?
Oh, no.
No.
I don't.
So
no, I don't like.
Back then you did, but not now.
No. Wait, did I post something about the Coachella lineup?
Yeah, you thought it was amazing.
Oh my God, because I don't like any of those bands.
Wow.
Well, 2012 you did. Now we know your influence.
Times have changed.
I seriously can't believe I was in a weird place at that time.
2012, we all
That
were.
was like immediately post sorority.
Oh, that's why you loved it. It wasn't about the music. It was about the flower crowns.
It was probably like Avicii, Cascade,
Swedish House Mafia.
Swedish
There
House
they are.
Mafia. That's what you liked.
No. I've never been into that.
Okay, good. Did you go to high school with a Playboy playmate?
I don't know.
Do you know a woman named Katie Vernola?
Wait, named what?
Katie Vernola?
No, I don't know her.
Oh, okay. She apparently went to your high school. I wasn't sure if it was the same year as, but she's a Playboy playmate. Yeah, Playboy playmate went to your high school.
Well, I do know a Playboy playmate, but it's not her.
Is she the most famous person?
Do you have your cell phone number?
No, I think Kelly's got her beat.
Yeah, probably. Okay, right. Cool. Last question.
Avril Lavigne. Do you know
is she dead or alive?
Dead or alive?
Oh man, that's a good conspiracy. One of my favorites, actually.
Yes.
Ooh, there we go. That's actually the question we ask every artist.
That is the question that we actually
ask.
Is it?
Yep.
I do think she's alive. I think it would be really, really tough to get a body double that looked legitimately the exact same as her.
We'll send you some. We're going to DM you some pictures.
I think she's still kicking.
Some evidence of
we'll change your mind.
Okay. I've looked into it. I have looked into it. I love conspiracy theories.
Are there any you actually believe?
see here. I mean, all of them, yeah.
All of them?
All of them.
All conspiracy theories. Okay. Fair enough. I like that. That's the best answer we've ever gotten. All right. Well, that feels like the perfect spot to end the interview.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much for giving us a call and bearing with us through the old Skype. Yeah, good luck.
It was great. Thank you for asking fun questions.
Yeah, I'm glad this wasn't boring for you. Well, hopefully.
Good luck with the album.
Yeah, good luck with the album.
So
We're stoked to hear it. It's going to be a big year for you.
Oh, I hope so. Thank you all so much.
All right, have a good day.
Have a good one.
You too. Okay, bye.
And that was our interview with Bloodboy.
Do you ever notice that we always, when we say the word and that's our thing. So if you're a listener of the pod, all my friends, the podcast, then that's how you know of someone else's a fellow listener.
Anytime
a
they
BFFL.
say,
A BFFL with the silent L. Silent F. Crap.
Wow.
But if you hear them say and, then you know that they're a part of the pod. God, we're going to make a t-shirt of that one day. Sick.
That's going to be a
sick t-shirt.
Next week, we have another great episode for you guys.
They're all great. They're all great.
Yes, but this one was special because we definitely got
really drunk with them. They were drunk showing up to it. We've got the electronic duo named Phantoms. Childhood actors. Legitimately, they were both on Hannah Montana. That's So Raven. A bunch
This might be just one of the best.
It's the most entertaining.
Funny stories.
I can't say you're going to walk away from it being like, wow, I really got an insight into this incredible revolutionary artist. Like, they're incredibly good, and it's super fun, but this is the most entertaining one for sure.
Definitely.
One of the most entertaining ones, my bad.
So check it out. As always, subscribe. Tell all your friends.
About all my friends.
Remember, we'll put out those top 10 songs and a playlist next week after Evan does his homework and does his.
Yeah.
So
wait, do we have to shout anyone else? Are people leaving us reviews? I feel like we should have.